Chapter 1. The ability you were told you don't have expanded. What if psychic ability isn't rare, but socially filtered out of you? Every child displays heightened perception. Children sense tension in rooms before words are spoken. They anticipate events. They speak about imaginary presences with conviction. Then conditioning begins. It's just coincidence. Stop imagining things. Gradually, subtle perception gets suppressed under rational conformity. Psychic potential is not spectacle. It is sensitivity to information below conscious awareness. Your nervous system is constantly reading micro-expressions, tone shifts, electromagnetic signals, environmental pattern changes. Most of this never reaches conscious awareness because the brain prioritizes survival efficiency over subtlety. Psychic training is not about adding something mystical. It's about restoring signal access. Across cultures, intuitive perception was trained. Indigenous trackers could sense presence before visual confirmation. Shamans entered altered states to retrieve symbolic data. Ancient oracles trained attention, fasting, breathwork, and isolation. Modern life does the opposite. Continuous stimulation, digital overload, chronic stress, sleep fragmentation stress narrows perception. Cortisol prioritizes threat detection, not subtle awareness. The first step is not activation, it is reduction of noise. Practical protocol. Reduce input 30 minutes daily, no phone, no audio. Sit in silence. Observe internal chatter. Notice impulses before action. Track subtle anticipations during the day. The key insight: intuition appears before thought. If you wait for logic, you've already overridden it. The deeper truth is uncomfortable. You were trained to distrust your own perception. The question is not, can you develop psychic ability? It's, are you willing to retrust your perception without external validation? Next, how perception itself is neurologically filtered. Chapter 2. Rewiring perception. Your brain deletes most of reality before you experience it. The reticular activating system, RAS, filters sensory input. It decides what is relevant. If psychic perception is never labeled as relevant, it gets filtered out. Training begins by shifting what the brain considers important. Brainwave states matter. Beta, normal, alert thinking equals analytical, narrow focus. Alpha equals relaxed alertness, expanded perception. Theta equals imagery, intuitive flow, dreamlike access. Most intuitive flashes occur in micro-alpha shifts, those brief pauses before reaction. To cultivate this, slow breathing to 5 seconds inhale, 5 seconds exhale. Relax gaze to peripheral awareness. Allow attention to soften rather than focus tightly. Perception expands when control relaxes. Advanced drill. Choose a public space without staring. Sense who is about to move before they move. Track subtle body shifts, breath changes, microtension. Over time, you'll predict movement before it occurs. This is not magic. It is pattern anticipation refined below conscious thought. Another exercise. Place an object in a box. Have someone else choose it. Before opening, write down 3 impressions. not guesses, impressions, texture, emotion, temperature, then compare. The discipline is to record without editing. Over time, the filter weakens. The most important shift: stop asking, "Is this real?" Start asking, "What data am I receiving?" As perception sharpens, synchronicity increases, not because reality changes, but because you notice alignment. Next, understanding the language of intuitive data. Chapter 3. The language of intuition. Intuition does not argue, it delivers. Intuitive information rarely arrives as full sentences. It arrives as compressed packets, a flash image, a bodily contraction, a word fragment, a sudden emotional tone. Your job is decoding, not dramatizing. The difference between intuition and fear. Fear is repetitive and loud. Intuition is brief and neutral. Fear feels urgent. Intuition feels clear. Calibration method. Ask yourself neutral yes, no questions, where you know the answer. Notice body response. Does your chest expand on yes? Does your stomach tighten on no? Map your personal signal. Then test low-stakes decisions. Which route to take? Who is about to text? Which email contains important information? Track accuracy statistically. Remove ego. Treat it like data collection. Projection is the main distortion. If you want a certain outcome, your mind will generate intuitive confirmation. Emotional neutrality becomes critical. Another advanced method: sit with a decision. Imagine saying yes. Notice body response. Then imagine no. The body often registers coherence before logic does. The deeper principle: intuition operates through coherence. When internal systems align, clarity increases. The more emotionally reactive you are, the more distorted the signal becomes. Thus, psychic development becomes emotional regulation training. By the end of this chapter, one truth becomes undeniable. Intuition is precise when you are calm. Next, expanding beyond internal perception into external energetic fields. Chapter 4. Reading energy fields. Walk into a room. Before anyone speaks, you already know the mood. How humans emit measurable electromagnetic fields via the heart and brain. Emotional states alter these patterns. While not mystical, this creates subtle environmental shifts. Energy reading begins with interoception, sensing your own internal state. Without self-awareness, you project onto others. Step 1. Baseline yourself. Close eyes. Notice your breathing, emotional tone, muscle tension. Establish internal neutrality. Step 2. Shift attention outward. Stand 2 feet from another person without touching. Move your hands slowly toward them. Notice temperature change, tingling, pressure sensation. These are subtle nervous system responses to proximity. Next level. Enter a public space without analyzing visually. Write down 3 adjectives describing the atmosphere. Later verify through conversation or observation. Advanced exercise. Have a partner hold an emotional memory silently. Without speaking, sense shifts in your body. Compare notes. Energy perception increases when attention becomes diffuse rather than sharp. Important caution: do not assume interpretation. Heavy does not mean negative. Warm does not mean positive. Psychic maturity requires observational discipline. The most powerful realization: you are constantly exchanging information with environments unconsciously. Training makes it conscious, and once conscious, you can regulate boundaries. Next, strengthening your internal signal so perception becomes reliable. Chapter 5: Strengthening the signal. A distorted nervous system cannot receive clear data. Psychic perception relies on coherence. Coherence requires physiological stability. Sleep deprivation reduces prefrontal clarity. Blood sugar spikes alter emotional regulation. Chronic stress narrows attention. Your body is not separate from psychic ability. It is the interface. Foundational pillars: 7 to 8 hours sleep. Stable nutrition, avoid extreme spikes. Daily nervous system downregulation. Reduced overstimulation. Breathwork protocol: inhale 5 seconds. Exhale 5 seconds. 5 minutes minimum. This synchronizes heart rate variability, increasing internal coherence. Grounding drill: stand barefoot if possible. Focus attention on feet. Visualize excess mental noise draining downward. Whether symbolic or literal, the nervous system responds. Emotional clearing: unprocessed trauma creates hypervigilance, which mimics intuition but is actually threat bias. Journaling exercise: write current fears. Identify evidence. Separate fear from fact. Emotional clarity reduces projection. Advanced strengthening: cold exposure or physical training increases stress resilience. Resilient nervous systems maintain clarity under intensity. The more regulated you are, the stronger the intuitive signal. Then something shifts. You begin anticipating conversations. You sense outcomes before confirmation. You notice subtle patterns others ignore. This is not supernatural escalation. It is cognitive and energetic refinement. And once the signal stabilizes, distance becomes less relevant, which leads to the next threshold. Can awareness extend beyond immediate sensory range? This is a crucial and sometimes uncomfortable truth. Almost all of us had intuitive abilities as children. We could feel the atmosphere in a room, see things in our peripheral visions, sense tension before a fight broke out, or even dream of things that later came true. But then the adults around us would say, "Oh, it's just your imagination," or "Stop being so dramatic." Bound, and slowly that door to our intuition began to close. But here's the thing: suppressing an ability doesn't make it disappear, it just buries it. And that buried energy often turns into fear. There are 3 main fears that keep our abilities locked away. First, the fear of being wrong. Our logical minds crave certainty, but psychic perception is often subtle and can't be proven on the spot. So we doubt ourselves and silence that inner voice. Second, there's the fear of social rejection. Let's be honest, talking about energy fields or gut feelings isn't always welcome. To fit in, we learn to shrink ourselves and hide that part of who we are. The deepest fear, though, is the fear of the unknown. When our perception starts to expand, our sense of reality can feel unstable. If intuition is real, what else is possible? That question can shake the very foundations of our world. There's also a strong link between trauma and sensitivity. Highly intuitive people are often highly sensitive, meaning we perceive more, but we also feel things more deeply. If you grew up in a chaotic or unstable environment, your nervous system likely went into survival mode. Survival mode narrows your focus to immediate threats, pushing subtle sensory information to the background. Your ability isn't gone. It's just waiting for a signal that it's safe to come out. So, this step isn't about forcing your abilities open. It's about creating that safety. You can start by regulating your nervous system. Try brief cold water exposure. Practice slow breathing with longer exhales. Do relaxation exercises, or simply walk barefoot on the earth to ground yourself. When your body feels safe, your perception will naturally begin to expand again. The hidden truth is that most people don't lack psychic potential. They lack permission, safety, and the right language to understand it. Once you understand the fear, the block weakens, and your natural perception starts to flow. And now, you're ready to take the next step. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more. Chapter 7. Energy Reading, Seeing Without Seeing. Let's step into territory most people misunderstand. Energy reading is not mystical fantasy. It is pattern recognition at a high sensory resolution. When you walk into a room and say, "Something feels off," that's energy reading. When you meet someone and immediately sense tension behind their smile, that's energy reading. The difference between an average person and a trained intuitive is awareness and calibration. The field around the body humans emit measurable electromagnetic fields. The heart produces a field detectable several feet away. But beyond measurable physics, there is perceptual experience. Close your eyes. Think of someone you deeply trust. Notice the shift in your chest. Now think of someone who betrayed you. Different sensation. No words needed. That's energetic contrast. Exercise. Silent scan. Stand in front of someone or imagine someone vividly. Without analyzing, ask internally, where in my body do I feel activation? Is it contraction or expansion? Is it warm or cold? Your body answers before logic does. Energy reading is body literacy. Micro-expression, awareness, psychic perception often overlaps with subconscious social processing. Tiny eye movements, breath changes, muscle tension. Your brain registers it before conscious thought. Training means slowing perception enough to catch it consciously. The more present you are, the more information appears. The ethical line here's something critical. Just because you can sense something does not mean you should invade it. Ethical intuition respects autonomy. You read patterns. You do not manipulate them. True power requires restraint, and restraint strengthens clarity. The expansion moment when energy reading becomes consistent, something shifts. You stop reacting impulsively. You see dynamics forming before conflict happens. You choose differently. That's not fantasy. That's strategic perception. And we're not even at the deepest level yet. Chapter 8. Dreams as portals, the intelligence of the night mind every night. Your conscious identity shuts down, and something else takes over. Dreaming is not random chaos. It is non-linear intelligence. Why dreams become more vivid during psychic development when intuition strengthens. The subconscious becomes more accessible. Dreams intensify. Symbols become sharper. Emotions feel amplified because you are reducing internal censorship. Types of psychic dreams. 1. Symbolic processing dreams, metaphorical, emotional, archetypal. 2. Precognitive dreams, events previewed before occurring, usually subtle, rarely dramatic. 3. Telepathic dreams, shared dream states or emotional crossovers, often confirmed by matching experiences later. Train and dream recall. Most people forget 90% of dreams within 10 minutes of waking. To change that, do not move immediately upon waking recall. Fragments before opening eyes. Keep a notebook beside your bed. Write even one sentence. Consistency builds neural pathways. The lucidity threshold. Lucid dreaming is the moment you realize you are dreaming. That moment mirrors psychic awakening in waking life. Reality becomes flexible. When you gain lucidity in dreams, you train meta-awareness, and meta-awareness is the foundation of intuition. The deeper layer, the night mind, speaks in symbol, not language. If you try to interpret dreams literally, you miss them. Ask what emotion dominated, what pattern repeats, what archetype appears. Dreams are not predictions. They are reflections of potential timeline, and awareness shifts probability. All right, let's talk about synchronicity. This is where things get a little weird, but also undeniable. Have you ever thought of an old friend, and then suddenly your phone rings and it's them? Or maybe you start seeing a specific number or symbol everywhere you look. That's synchronicity, meaningful coincidences that just feel like more than chance. Some of this is your brain's attention amplifier. When you focus on something, you start noticing it more. But synchronicity often has this emotional weight to it. It doesn't just feel like you're noticing things. It feels like the universe is responding to you. It's like your internal clarity, your aligned thoughts and feelings starts to shape your reality. From the outside, it looks like luck. Internally, it's a sign you're on the right path. But here's a word of caution. Don't chase these signs. Observe them. Chasing leads to obsession, while observing leads to insight. Always keep your logic and stay grounded. An increase in synchronicity can be powerful, but power without stability is dangerous. Chapter 10. Integration. Becoming powerful without losing yourself. This is the most important chapter, because psychic development is not about spectacle. It's about integration. If your abilities isolate you, something is off. If they destabilize you, something is rushed. If they inflate ego, something is misunderstood. Signs of true integration: calm confidence, reduced reactivity, increased empathy, clear boundaries, stable nervous system, no drama, no superiority, no chaos, just clarity. The paradox of power: the more intuitive you become, the less you need to prove it. You don't announce perception. You use it strategically. You choose better relationships. You avoid unnecessary conflict. You sense timing. That's real power. The final discipline: daily grounding, regular self-check, emotional accountability, reality testing. Ask yourself, am I projecting? Am I assuming? Am I grounded? If yes, continue. If not, reset. The ultimate realization: psychic potential is not supernatural. It is expanded human perception. By it is sensitivity trained into precision. It is awareness sharpened into intelligence. And it is useless without character. You don't unlock power to escape reality. You unlock it to navigate reality better than before. That's the real awakening. Not floating above the world, but walking through it with eyes open.